Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be on a Monday night, where tonight, live and exclusive on Top Split TV, we bring you the penultimate round of Season 15 of Monday Night Lights, and in fact, Monday Night Lights in general. Of course, we move to Sundays next season, but tonight we're coming to you live from Motegi with the best local and international drivers we can scratch together on a Monday night each and every week, and joining me this week in commentary, I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and with me once again is the good doctor himself, Dr. Alex John. AJ, welcome aboard for another great week of racing here tonight.
Yeah, g'day Alex, good to be here. Looking forward to this one because we are getting to the pointy end of the season, so only 2 rounds left, and I see there's still a few guys at the top. We've got Snell and Henderson taking on Cantor with a few drop rounds still in play, Alex.
Yeah, we have started our drop rounds, of course. They started last week, but yeah, you're right. If we pull up the scores now, there's my magic button. Mr. Cantor with his win last week, such that it was. He's now on top. He's leapfrogged Monday Night Lights favourite Kevin Henderson. Pulled him back one position to second. Third spot on the podium, the rampaging Ben Snell, who has had decent season thus far and certainly in the hunt, although looking at Cantor, he still does have a race in hand. This season we'll be having only the 7 weeks that count, 7 rounds because of the Christmas break, and drop rounds are now in play with just 2 rounds to go. Samuel Collins, Sean Caron, I should say, in P4, with Samuel Collins rounding out top 5. Anton Yardis, once again not making the trip down on a Monday night, but he is sitting in 6th there. Not his usual spot there, AJ.
No, Anton Yardis leaving it all up to his teammate Cantor to get the job done. And well, as we saw last week, and as you mentioned, Cantor willing to do anything and everything to get the job done. So on this track, it's going to be quite interesting to see how it all plays out, because you can, of course, run side by side in quite a few of the corners. It's left, right. So yeah, running side by side, plenty of straights to sneak up on the guy and launch an attack. Yeah, anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely right. Did a few races here this week. Really enjoyed it. This track really does produce some excellent racing. A few of the guys out there tonight, Enzo Cantor. In fact, I was going to say this track produced one of the highlight moments of the 2K Cup. There was some footage of that, one of the races here, and it was side by side for corner after corner, drivers interleaving with each other. It was quite amazing. But tonight we have a few of our regulars and a few new folk. Well, I just got to check. Mr. Mark Jeffrey this week wearing the correct livery, snuck into the top split. I was talking to him earlier today and yesterday about whether or not he'd sneak in. The strength of field tonight for those playing at home is 32.94, which just pops us into the second highest split of the week. No shame in that, and plenty of points on offer. Sean Caron currently sitting provisionally in 5th. AJ, as the guys start setting their first of 2 quality laps.
Yeah, and I see we've got quite a few of the fast internationals here. We've got the returning Iberian, Otero Roman. We've got Vasca Lampi, who's just keeps improving. He's been back for a little while now. He had a bit of time out, but I mean, you and I had a race with him earlier in the week, and he proved to be very quick, as did Kevin Henderson. No doubt he'll be trying to maximise his point haul for the championship, but quite a few of the familiar names in there. Snell, Clark, Michael Fiedler from Germany, I believe, raced him. He's going to be quick. So, you know, these guys, if they're able to maximise a draft and play cool for the 11 laps, try and book themselves a ticket into the last one, it could really prove to be an exciting last couple of laps, Alex.
Could do. Tell you what, there's some names at the bottom of our standings at the moment for quality. That's Cantor and Fiedler, who we would expect to jump up the order. Obviously, they have discounted their first laps with 1Xs or incident points, as we see Cantor now running out the back lap. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, well, it's so easy to pick up a 1X going around to the turn 13, 14 final turn complex. If you just run a little bit too hot in, you can easily pick up a 1x on the apex, or a little bit too hot on the way out. So easy to pick up a 1x on the exit.
Absolutely. Let's just take a look as Enzo Cantor now coming towards the end of his second lap. Just the 90 seconds or just under remaining. He'll be wanting to set a good lap here as he approaches that final line. 2:11.1 to beat 169, and he's done a 2:10.957 to jump straight to second position. What's going on there? Vascalampi.
Vascalampi's just gotten in there across exactly the same time as Cameron, did a 2:10.5. So his pace from earlier in the week that I've seen continuing on tonight.
Absolutely. Michael Fiedler has also jumped up as he set his second lap. You were talking about Kevin Henderson before. Kevin has also just finished his second lap. He's had some tremendous pace around here. Rafa Sola just completing his times. He's down in P6. Jarno Marku, he is the 7-plated car here tonight. He is coming towards the tail end of his lap. Let's see if he can jump up a bit. He's in P9 at the moment. Vascalampi, who threw me a curveball by crossing the line at the same time as I thought Cantor took pole. He's of course retained P1 there. We'll come through the final part of the track now, unless I am mistaken, which I think I am. Am I? Yes. Tell you what, this camera angle's really confused me. Anyway, he's not doing anything more, so let's get rid of that. Let's take a look at our grid for round 11 of the Monday Night Lights from Twin Ring Motegi. P1 tonight, as we saw the result there. Timo Vascalampi from Finland joining us once again with a 2:10.5. Fantastic effort. A full 3.5 tenths ahead of championship leader Enzo Cantor from Italy with a 2:10.9, sitting in position number 2 on the grid. P3 went to Kevin Henderson, his championship rival, with a 2:11.1, leading the Australian New Zealand club charge. P4 went to Cristobal Otero Romano, a regular Iberian compatriot here with a 2:11.1 on P4. P5 went to Ben Snell, first team Milo driver from ANZ with a 2:11.2. P6 went to Sean Caron with a 2:11.4, also from ANZ. Rafa Sola in P7, also from Iberia, with a 2:11.4. P8 went to Michael Fiedler, that we saw get his second lap in with a 2:11.4. P9, Jared Marku, that we saw from Finland, 2:11.4. P10 went to Russell Clark, second of the team Milo drivers, a 2:11.8. P11, Dennis Fiedler, Team Ovaltine, 2:12 dead. P12, Joachim Bruckner, 2:12.4. Mark Kerr with a 2:12 dead. 14th went to Andre Marzal with a 2:12.2. 15th, Mark Jeffrey, representing Team Benham, and without setting a time in P16, Frank Herman tonight, rounding out our grid. I have time to look at the race information. Round 11 from Twin Ring Motegi, 11 laps, 14 turns. Here, 52 Ks. It's about what we expect. The key temperature figure, a track temp of 26, sort of in the midst there. I was very impressed on that basis to see a couple of drivers in the 2:10s there, really quick around here, AJ.
Yeah, it is a long lap and it's easy to make a mistake. There's a couple of the S-curve, turns 7 and 8, and of course that final complex that makes it really challenging to get a good lap time.
Absolutely, as the red lights mean the revs and the green light means the go, as we see Cantor straight away pulling over to the left-hand side. Interestingly, the starts, I don't know about you, AJ, but the grid positions seem to be a lot more staggered these days, meaning that run into turn 1 is not quite as treacherous. You're not really looking to defend too hard as everyone gets through. Look at that picture. Look at all those skippies, beautifully coloured, racing down towards turn 3, 4, this double left-hander now. The front three already looking to assert themselves. As speaking of asserting themselves, it looks like, yes, Snell has got it done up the inside of Roman through turn 3. Quite a good passing opportunity, very cleanly done as Roman looks to come back up the inside, down the hill into turn 5. They go 2 by 2. Roman looking to get the drive out, but that will not happen as the drive goes to the Team Milo driver there and Ben Snell. Fantastic driving for both of them there, AJ.
Yeah, and I'm just looking, but I've lost Vascalampi on my screen, Alex. Can you see him?
I can. He's looking very wounded. Why don't we go back and have a look at... how did we miss that? How did we miss that? Let's see if we can't find it. We were watching the Milo boys come down here, and the brakes are applied as they go in there. There's no contact. Did he clip the grass? Yes, he did. And then he spat off into the wall there. And parked it nose first, rear left, getting on the grass there, and he's done that all himself, AJ.
Yeah, that's an absolute horror start for Vascalampi. He had such a cracking start as well. Definitely didn't have to worry about Cantor behind off the line, and you know he could have just settled in and you know driven away at the front with Cantor just in tow. But that is just devastating for Vascalampi.
Very uncharacteristic error too from the Finn there, and he is definitely on his way to a recovery drive at best, trying to salvage some of the points and iRating on offer here tonight, as once again Cantor now leading from the front. Bit of a tautology there for those playing at home, with Snell now putting all sorts of pressure on the back of Kevin Henderson there. We're seeing too wide. Is that the 9-plate car? Who's that? That's Rafa Sola. He again wearing similar livery to Roman here tonight. He's slowing right down. I don't know if he's picked up a slowdown. Car's looking a bit jittery under straight line speed, actually. Doesn't look to be any damage, AJ, but he was dropping like a stone there for a minute.
Yeah, it's looked like Kerr's got through as well, so Solar just accepting that he wasn't going to be able to defend that position and smartly just pulling out. So we've got this second pack now that has developed. They're going to be able to stay on the back of this second pack, but up front it's like they're getting a little bit racy. It's very close now between Cantor, Henderson and Snell.
Yeah, great to see Sean Caron in the lead pack as well. He has cracked it for another top split run. He was in the top split regularly there for a while, but he's sitting on the back of this pack of 5 now. But had a bit of an up and down time with his iRating, the lower participation week this time, perhaps getting him in the top split and showing the pace that he's got. I've raced him a few times, and I know firsthand the pace that he's got. Very competitive. It's a matter now whether he can not only hang on, but keep it on the track and secure what looks to be a great result incoming as the guys weave over to the right-hand side of the track and then come back over to driver's left to take the downhill turn 11. Another passing opportunity here. Snell right up under Kevin Henderson's rear wing under braking there. Fantastic to see the different braking styles and the adjustments made as the cars close and move apart under braking there, AJ.
Yeah, the chess piece is just being positioned by the Delir guys. Otero Armando not having a bar of it. He's happy just to stay on the racing line, but clearly the guys up ahead, Cantor, of course, we know he likes to lead the pack, so he's defending quite hard, but it's not going to matter. This lead pack has absolutely checked out from the second pack. They're doing they're nearly a second a lap quicker than the guys behind, so this is great pace from the top 4 or 5. Yeah, definitely 5. Karen's still on there, so hopefully they maintain this throughout the race and we can have a cracking 5-way battle at the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on board now with Cantor looking back at this chasing pack. They are playing nicely at the moment. Cantor moving over to driver's left very early there, not thinking about defending at all. And Henderson showing the faith. The good faith was well placed there, not looking there. These guys really working hard together to try and get away from the chasing pack, AJ.
Yeah, I'm loving having Henderson. Oh, I was just about to say, you know, you've got Henderson and Cantor up front, and they're both attacking drivers that would love to lead a race and love to have a good scrap. So it's great to have those two out front, and we can see Henderson is not going to wait until lap 11 to get the job done. He wants to have a go at Cantor now.
Oh, the rear of the car, Henderson stepping out. He's gathered it up there. But then as we were on board there with the perfect person to see that in Ben Snell, and now we've got Roman looking to go through on Snell, taking advantage. He's forced to the outside there. Henderson forced to defend. And that, in turn, really boxes Snell in. Oh, he's going to come right across the front of the nose there of Roman. Fantastic work by all concerned. None of them looking like they ever lifted there. And Cantor now out to a 7/10, 8/10 of a second lead. These guys going side by side once again into turn 11. They get it sorted. Oh, Snell running wide. Oh, Henderson's around. Henderson's around. We'll have to grab a look at that on replay as the guys now looking to... What's going on here? Looking to get away. Henderson, he's come down to defend on the inside. Braked quite late. Ran deep. Oh, I'm on board with the wrong car. Where's Henderson? And he's just been turned by the looks. He's just been turned. A little touch from Roman there. Has got into the rear. And that's all it took for Kevin. Kevin's a competitive night to be over, AJ.
Yeah, that's really disappointing. You can see just a little mistake from Henderson a few corners previous, and it's just bunched everybody up, and you can sort of see that something was going to happen. But I'm just hoping now that Snell's going to have the pace to catch back up to Cantor. Cantor's out to, let me see, 8/10 lead. So Snell, if he's able to drive a clean lap this lap around, he should be able to use that draft to catch back up.
Yeah, already got a 10th down that long straight on the approach to turn 5 there, and he's managed to take advantage there as he's still back out to 8/10. So it looked like Cantor there getting a good drive out of turn 5 under the bridge. They go through this snaking S section at 7 and 8. Quite fun third gear corner there. Plant it nice and early, run it out very wide as you track out, and then down into the heavy braking zone at turn 9 now. First or second is your option there. First getting a bit of rotation and drive out. Second probably carrying more corner speed. Now as they approach the hairpin at turn 10. Looks like Cantor coming in, turning in quite early there, and Snell conversely taking the later turn in there. Not looking to cut across and take the draft there as Cantor moves right over to the driver's right there. These guys look to have settled down. I'll tell you what that action did allow though. That allowed Jarno Marku and Michael Fiedler to get back in touch. They are now just 7/10 behind Sean Caron, who in turn is just about to be dropped by Roman. And Roman himself looks to have been just outside the magic second mark at 1.1. He might still get a sniff of draft, but it really now, with Snell sitting just 4/10 behind, looks to be a race in 2 developing here, AJ.
Yeah, well, it's exactly who we want to have out front. 2 championship contenders in Cantor and Snell. Just a real disappointment that Henderson's not going to be able to be there at the end of the race as well. But it is very much looking like it's going to be a 2-horse race. So Roman looking like he just doesn't quite have the pace of these front 2, especially now that he's lost the draft. So we could see Caron back up as Roman just collects a whole bunch of cones there. That's not going to help his front wing at all. But as well, Caron now very wide. He's just hanging onto it as he goes onto the grass, but definitely a 2-horse race now.
Absolutely, as we see both cars in 3rd and 4th respectively kill a few cones and run wide in those early corners. Well, at least Caron ran wide. Now we've got Marku and Fiedler with the hard-charging Russell Clark. Clark up 3 positions now, sitting in P7, looking to gain some good points here tonight. And hopefully his run of luck will dry up because he's had nothing but bad luck. So right in amongst it here, quite a racy looking pack there. A number of cars there nose to tail. Looks like they're all the way down to Joachim Buchner and P11 on the tail end of this pack. Looking like he might be struggling to hang on, but certainly plenty of action. As we jump back up front, we have now Snell right on board. Right on board now as we go. Right tucked in behind our leader, our race leader in Enzo Cantor, who once again pulls over to driver's right. Snell, who is in fact sitting, let me grab the other view so we can see where Enzo going. There he is. He's sitting just the 4/10 and not feeling like he needs to make use of the draft. He's now a full 1.4 seconds ahead of Roman, who has dropped off this race. And we, as predicted last lap, AJ, it looks like we have a race in 2 for the victory here tonight.
Yeah, and I was just having a look back through the field, and Henderson's setting a blistering lap time, a 2-minute 10.8 on that previous lap. So don't discount Henderson yet. If the second pack gets a little bit racy later on in the race, then Henderson could be there to pick off 2 or 3 towards the last lap or 2.
Absolutely. He's now, what is he? He's only 9/10 off the back of that second pack, if you can believe it. With about half the race remaining, there's still plenty he could do. Look at that. He's only, I beg your pardon, he's 4 seconds off the back. I was misreading the telemetry there. He's about 4 seconds off. So Joachim Bruckner is actually, Bruckner's a second off the back of Fiedler, who's the last one in the top 10 and the last one on that pack now as Bruckner looks to get dropped. Meanwhile, at the front of it, you've got Sean Caron. I beg your pardon. He's chasing down Roman now. Roman, now looking to struggle for a bit of pace, has now got a pack of about 7 cars hunting him down, AJ.
Yeah, so up front, Canner and Snell just playing the smart game. I know Snell is nice and cool in these sorts of situations, so he'll be happy as long as they can keep that gap to the second pack or keep it at the 2 seconds that they got now. But yeah, just keep them out of their draft. He'll be happy to just sit there, I'd say, and wait until the final laps to attack. But these guys in the second pack, they're going to be thinking when and where am I going to attack, because they're not going to be wanting to wait until the final laps. They're going to want to put themselves as far up this second chasing pack as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on board from the rear view out of Roman's car, just seeing what a trailing pack of 6 cars behind him looks like. Well, they are sort of reasonably spread out. Having said that, with Caron now looking up into turn 11, comes around the left-hander there. Good apex there from Roman, got the better drive out. And you can see this trailing snake of Skip Barber cars as they come through this very tricky right-left combo, this chicane through the last couple of corners there. Caron probably picking up an incident point there on the exit. It's a great little circuit, this one, makes for some great racing. And the guys here, this 7-car deep pack, really fighting for everything they've got. I don't know whether it's patience or they just don't have the pace to make an advance in this pack as we see. Oh, who's that dropping back now? Is that Clark? Yeah, it is Clark. I think he must have picked a slowdown up because he's dropped back several positions back down to P10, AJ.
Yeah, I'm just having a look. Yeah, he got a little bit loose in turn 1 and ended up cutting the apex at turn 2. So just to add insult to injury with a poor exit, he also had that slowdown there.
Yeah, that'll get you every single time. As we jump back up front, we've got his teammate, his Team Milo teammate in Ben Snell, right on behind Cantor now. Really all sorts of pressure. I don't think Cantor will succumb to the pressure, certainly not in the mid stages of the race. Later on, we never know. Last week we saw him with a last lap lunge that did not work out so well for his fellow racers. But I think Snell here playing a very patient game, looking to make his move towards the latter stages. If we now see this pack behind, it's Roman now. Caron looking around the outside there of turn 9, gets the drive, does he? No, he's got the hard charging Marku right to defend. Oh, is there contact there? No, they get it sorted. Caron moving over to the outside to try and get back in this train. Gets a tighter entry and perhaps not the drive that he wanted, but the draft will probably sort this out, as once again we see the driver at the front of the pack taking the defensive line over on the right hand side. What does that leave Caron with? Into the braking zone at turn 11. The car lurches forward as he grabs the brakes, all the weight transfer to the front of the car. Oh, as Caron suffering a bit of latency there. He's got the inside run through the final left-hander. What can he do through the line? He gets it done. Great move there. It took several corners to make it happen, but Caron there running wide on the last corner gets that move done, AJ.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help their overall lap time, but Caron there showing the fastest lap of the race with a 2-minute 10.39 on the previous lap with the draft. But Marku now getting through. He had to be careful that previous lap with the 2 guys fighting ahead of him, just checking themselves up a little bit. But now it's going to be Caron's turn to lead this pack. and I'd say there's going to be all sorts of pressure coming from behind. Oh
Oh,
no!
contact. He's turned across the very deep and late braking car, number 7 in Marku. Really, probably had no business being there, although he was defending so hard from Rahman. And Marku now backing off. Karen has managed to continue on, but he's suffered a little bit of front wing damage. I don't know how the rear of the car took that contact. Looks to be fairly straight, AJ, but certainly the elbows are out at this stage of the race, as you'd expect.
Yeah, and how is that with Michael Fiedler licking his lips, just putting his car straight through into third place. So he's just gained 2, 3, nearly 4 spots in that one, and as did Mark Kerr as well. He was really pushing. He was trying to get through on Karen there, but he's had to settle for just 1 or 2 spots up. But I'll tell you what, we've still got 4 cars deep and an angry pack.
Yeah, at least 4 cars, mate. I can see more than that too. There's everyone wants their shot at the title, so to speak. All that pressure came about, or that contact came about because Rahman was looking up the inside, and it was Marku who was really trying to defend. And as late as he could brake on the outside, it was just too late, and caused his nose to be in the wrong spot from what I saw anyway. And now Rahman putting all sorts of pressure over Fiedler, taking the title line through 11 now, getting the solid run out of there as they go through the other bridge. One of only 3 tracks where you pass under a bridge in the iRacing service, folks, here tonight. Just a little bit of trivia there for you, but the race is not dearth of action, so we are perhaps we'll leave the trivia for another night. But this 7-car pack now belies the fact that, can I tell you, Ben Snell is now 1.2 seconds behind Cantor. I noticed that he was about 0.8 of a second last lap. He's now dropped back a further 5 tenths. Can I throw it out there, AJ? Short fuel. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm having a look at his previous lap, and it looked like he just got a really poor run out of turn 4. And I'm still following on. He was still with him. And yeah, I'm not sure. He's just seemed to not be able to keep pace with Cantor, and that's just allowed Cantor to get out to a 1.4 second gap and break the toe. So perhaps Cantor is going to have this one nice and easy this week, not going to have to make too many desperate moves.
This biggie desperate moves. It's starting to get very racy back here. Side by side, they go under the other end of the bridge now. Karen now side by side with Rahman chasing down Fiedler, and behind them you've got Kerr and Solar doing their own impression. Oh, Karen, the rear of the car steps out. He's managed to gather it up, but has that cost him his shot? And the guys behind going almost like 9 pins. But all hanging on there as Kerr now, the 14 car, putting all sorts of pressure all over Karen. He's 8 tenths with just 2.5 laps remaining. Balance of 3, as you might say. As Rahman now looking up the inside of Fiedler into the hairpin at turn 10. Gets the move done, but Fiedler will probably have the drive. He's right up on the tail. Moves out to driver's right. Side by side they go down the hill into turn 11. Can he get it done? Looks like he can, but again, Karen coming right back into it here as you see Fiedler. Side by side action at this track is plentiful, and the guys are doing a great job of it. Karen now swinging right out to driver's right now to come through the final, open up the final couple of corners there, I should say. As oh, I'll tell you what, that car of Sean Karen, he's got his money's worth out here tonight, AJ.
Yeah, these guys doing a fantastic job. Great driving by Mark Kerr that previous lap to avoid the back of the very sideways Karen. But they're all doing a great job. But it's so hard to defend though. So I don't know where you'd want to be going on to the last lap. But I'd say wherever you are, you're going to have a fight on your hands, because you can quite easily go 2 by 2. And if you can just manage to hold on around the outside of one of these corners, you're nearly guaranteed to have an opposite left or right hand corner, which will give you the inside and hopefully the run to take the position.
Absolutely, very risky business there by Rahman, who cleaned up the marking cones there on the outside. See a bit of wing damage, and can I tell you from personal experience that that can be caused by the cones, and the cones can also get caught under your front wing, not only give you a whole lot of extra drag that you don't want, a bit of understeer as well. So risky business there by Roman. I've seen a few do it here this week and tonight indeed. As Fiedler now putting all sorts of pressure all over the back of Roman, and Karen really hanging on to what should be a good result for him if he can keep it on the track, AJ. He's doing well, and certainly, like I said, getting the most out of his skip. Barber is right up close under brakes and a Fiedler. I'm not sure he meant to do that, and that has given him perhaps a poorer run out than he was expecting. And the other two behind in Kerr and Solar, a bit of an opportunity to come back. Oh, he's last of the late breakers is Karen. Look at that again through turn 10, AJ.
Yeah, you've got to be so careful as well with all of these hairpin turns. If you get a little bit of a checkup, then it leaves you really exposed to the guy behind. Luckily for Karen, Kerr is a little ways off, but also keeping an eye up front. Snell has been able to get just back within draft range. He's lost a tenth or two this final sector, but he was back to within 8/10 of a second. So a little last lap charge, but it looks like Can has been able to put the final nail in the coffin in the last sector of that lap, Alex.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got a long straight here to get a bit of draft there as this snaking train behind them starts making its weaving way. It actually looked like a snake there for a minute with Rahman leading his competitors on a merry dance there down the start-finish straight now as we see Fiedler now getting a good run out here. This will be interesting. Let's hop on board with Fiedler here as we see what the driver can do now into this this tight left-hander, double left-hander at 3 and 4. Not backing out, decides better of it. Well, that was a bit anticlimactic, wasn't it, AJ? He didn't have a look after it.
Kerr had a big look on Karen though, and it was nearly a repeat of the previous incident that we had, which saw, who was it, Altero Roman go around, but oh geez, we've got Fiedler defending on the inside from Karen. They're so close. Oh, Karen, I don't know how he didn't get into the back of Fiedler then.
It's attack and defence at the same time from this pack here, but I tell you, I'm just gonna. I might grab a little look there for the little bit more through here through the turn 7-8 complex as we see Roman going around the outside now onto the inside. Karen up the inside. Sorry.
I'll tell you what, Alex. Sorry, we've got a race on for P1 as well. We've got Snell right up within about a car length of Cantor right now.
Yeah, I know. I was just holding off to the passing opportunities presented because there was so much going on in that other pack. But it's all to play for here. This time, we're on board with Snell. This time, he goes to follow Cantor. Which way will he be forced to go? He'll be forced to go to the outside. What does it look like on the run to turn 11? Late braking Cantor. Has he got it done? Oh, underneath comes Snell. They're going to be side by side through the final two corners, are they? No. Oh, he's going to do the over-under. Oh, the under-under. He's gone the apex there, and it looks like, is he going to get the drive out? No, it looks like Cantor's got it done. Are we going to get a look at the Enzo wiggle here, or is it going to be too tight to mention? I'll tell you what.
Jeez, I think he's done it.
Nah, Cantor's...
He has. I've got Snell. Snell in P1.
Oh, you do too? Look at that. And then it's Karen. Karen's got it done towards the end with a little bit of a wiggle there too. Why don't we go back and we'll do a couple of things here. We'll go and see how Karen got his position. So this is on the approach to turn 10. He's right up the inside there. Right up the inside. We are looking at this last lap replay. I just wanted to catch the action for the leaders there. And Snell's, oh, you're right, I think he's got it by the finest of margins there. As these guys equally coming down or similarly oh, Karen had a bit of a whoopsie there, but a jinking move there from Roman to defend there, all legit. Oh, is there contact there? I don't think there was contact. It can't have been because he's gathered it up once again. Roman with tremendous car control there under the most extreme of pressures, and then Karen drives away with it. Where's Roman defending there? Side by side, Kerr and Fiedler. Looks like, Roman once again. Look at them all in the background. Bar the 1Xs are going to go for positions here at the end, and they've got it done. I'll tell you what I do want to do, though, is I want to go back and find, Karen, fantastic result from him as he celebrates with a bit of dirt work What I really want to do is I want to go back and see this final series of corners. Snell right on the tail. I thought he was going to do the over thing, and he's got up the inside there. Wonder if we can hop on board there. Hop on the left there. No, we want the right. We're on board with Snell here, and we look at that. How far back is he? He's like a car length and a half, but he compromised his entry and Cantor's exit.
Yeah, Snell was really clever there. He knew he didn't have to try and take him to the first part of corner. He just had to pinch Canter enough that he compromised his exit and gave himself a perfect run onto straight. And the finishing margin was 0.000 of a second. So I don't know how they've split that. That's a photo finish.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. I'm just going to wait till this hits the line, if I can, and see. Let's see what that looks like. Let's go here, and we'll see what we can find by way of view. I want to see what that looks like, AJ. What about you? Let's see what that sort of margin looks like here.
I I think you could maybe slot a small credit card between them. I don't think there was anything in it.
Let's have a look. Oh, got this right. Here we go. Go back a bit, and then we'll go frame by frame. How do you split that? I don't know, folks. How do you split that? That's about as tight as it comes, as it gets, I should say. Like, that's dead set a draw. I mean, if not for the camera angle, you'd be looking at. You can't split them. You dead
No,
set can't split them. Look at that. You
that's
just
I think that's got to be the closest finish in M&L history, doesn't it, Alex?
absolutely the closest finished we have ever seen. And I don't know how iRacing split them. Is there a fourth decimal that we can look at here for a gap? Because my gap on my telemetry has Enzo winning the race by 0.001, which I got to tell you, it looks like that on my screen, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what to
well,
tell
maybe
you.
the Milo boys just have their timing transponder placed a little bit further up in the car, Alex. I don't know. The could be these secret things that they do to try and get the victory.
Yeah, that could be it, mate. I don't know. I don't know. That was interesting. That was the tightest thing I think I've ever seen. I didn't think Snell could do it, but it looks like it. Let's see what the official results say tonight. I got Enzo winning it on the telemetry. The telemetry says Enzo won it. Um, I don't know if you can look at the race results in the server, but I'm going to read them out as they say on the board there. I had Enzo winning it in a fantastic race between those front two. P2, of course, according to my telemetry, by 1/1000th of a second is Ben Snell for ANZ and Team Milo. Sean Caron in quite an adventurous race. Car number 15 finishing in P3 tonight. A stack of iRating and points for his championship. And just 7 seconds off, and just behind him, equally adventurous tonight was Cristobal Otero Roman from Iberian, leading Iberian here tonight in P4. He had an adventurous race as well. P5, Michael Fiedler. Spoke about him early on as having some pace, and he had his challenges during the race, but up 3 spots to finish in fifth. P6, Mark Kerr from ANZ, a regular Skippy driver. We haven't seen him too often this season, though. Rafa Sola from Iberia in P7. In amongst that racy pack that he was. P8, Russell Clark, second Team Milo driver from ANZ. P9, Dennis Fiedler. We didn't see too much of him, but he was on the tail end of that pack and certainly in amongst it from Team Ovaltine and ANZ. Kevin Henderson did fight his way back to P10, and he was, just a second off that pack as well. So what might have been for Kevin tonight, who is P2 in the championship overall, but no advancement on that here tonight. Joachim Bruckner finished in P11. We saw him have his share of troubles tonight. P12, Frank Herman who's back for another week's race. We didn't see much of him tonight. P13, similarly, Andreas Marsel from Iberia. P14, Team Venom's own Mark Jeffrey making another appearance in the top split tonight from the ANZ Club. Jarno Marku in P15 from Finland, along with his compatriot Teemu Vaskalampi. What could have been for Teemu, the Finn? The flying Finn here tonight flew all the way into the wall, unfortunately, on the opening laps while leading the race. Oh, I feel terrible for him. P17. I don't even remember calling this gentleman's name. I assume it's a gentleman. I'm going to say Buafia. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. Too many letters in the wrong place for me. But he's finished P17 and looks to be our only retirement for the evening, AJ. Well, that shaped up quite spectacularly. What did your telemetry tell you in the end in terms of the official server?
Yeah, I got the official results up, and it was Cantor who took it by 0 seconds. So absolutely just nothing in it. If you could have a draw, I think that those guys deserve a draw.
Well, I think 0.0001, 1/1000th of a second is about as close to a draw as you could ever hope for. That was pretty crazy. But yeah, we've got some guys waiting in the green room. I'm gonna just find a point in the race here to which is the start. Might do that, and we'll bring up Mr. Cantor. I'll grab him on there. I bet he'll be excited too. Enzo Cantor. Sorry, mate. Welcome to the Top Split TV commentary booth. What a race! Has it ever been that close for you in another race that you've been in?
Hi guys. Well, really a crazy race. I think it is the first time I won a race with less than 1,000 of a second gap. I don't know how was the gap, but for official timing, it is 0.000. So perhaps a foot of distance between me and him. So really crazy, and I did all by myself. So if if losing the race in the last straight, well, it was my fault because I did. Many mistakes in the last laps because when I push out of my draft ban, I was trying to push harder and harder and harder, and in order to increase that gap without thinking about managing it, no. And well, in this track, if you little overdrive a little bit, you can lose half a second in a lap. So I did the wrong choice. No, I had to manage, and I choose to push hard. And in the last lap, I saw that dominant Ben Snell that was arriving in my mirrors, and I was expecting a move in the last straight or in the last chicane. He did it very well, and he would deserve the victory if he would win. But I think with another foot of straight, he would win the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, I couldn't separate it. We had it one each way. AJ had it called for Snell. We looked at it across the line, and I thought there was the, as they used to say in the old days, the width of a fag paper in it. But it was pretty damn close. And I think on my telemetry, it's rounded up to 1/1000th of a second. iRacing obviously had it as the triple zeros. But look, it was tight, whatever the case, and certainly impressed by your defence there, and the clean racing with you and Ben there at the end was sensational. You know, like he really put the moves on through that final chicane, and both of you came out, you know, smelling sweet and looking for the victory. So it was a fantastic drive, mate. Congratulations on the win this week. It was a fantastic way to end the race and the closest finish I think we've ever had in Monday Night Lights. A great way to bring, well, it's not the end of the season, but it's getting close. So congratulations once again, mate, and anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go.
Yeah, thank you for your congratulations, but you have to say it to Ben, because I almost lost a race that I had already win. So exiting that final chicane, as you said, we exited both in a clean way, looking for the victory. But he was faster than me, so much faster than me, exiting the last corner, and I could do nothing. Because I was on my line and I only could press to my throttle with all my force to arrive before him. But I was looking in my mirrors and he was passing me, and I was praying because I could do nothing. He did the right move in that last chicane, and yeah, I won. But I think I don't completely deserve this victory because he did the best performance today, Ben. So congratulations to him from me. And finally, yeah, I have to say thanks as always to my team, Transmaster Mivano Racing, my team manager Fabio Mantellini, all my teammates, and you for the broadcast as always.
Thank you, Enzo. Very generous in victory as always. He did have a great drive, but mate, you're on the top of the dais, so hopefully, it'll be that sort of result for you next in the coming weeks as well. Now, don't forget, Enzo, we switch to Sunday next season. Okay, just an early heads up. And but thank you, thank you once again for joining us, mate, and we look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks.
The next week it will be on Monday.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, I will try because I'm trying to win this official Keep Barber iRacing Championship. It will be very difficult because Tuan Tran is in fifth position, as you know, and he has I think about 80 points in front of me. I need 250 points in the last race at Watkins Glen to win the championship. I think I will try it in the last day, so I surely will be here on Monday.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Enzo. We look forward to seeing you then.
See ya.
There you go, AJ. Enzo has paid, the ultimate compliment to Ben there, in so much as he felt that the better driver finished second in terms of at least how he attacked the last series of corners. And I'd have trouble arguing with him on that. I thought Ben's performance through that last series of corners was excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben absolutely did the right move there. Exactly as I saw it. He pinched him on the entry to the turn, got that great drive. For all money, I would have called Ben Snell as the winner there. I thought he had it, but not to be. Let's hear from him though.
Let's bring him up indeed. Mr. Snell, welcome to the Top Split TV commentary booth, mate. It doesn't get much closer than that. Run us through your final few corners there.
I want a recount. It's crazy. Yeah, I thought Enzo dropped me at one point with about 4 or 5 to go. And honestly, Enzo had the pace on me tonight by at least a couple of tenths. But he overdrove, and I managed to get back in the draft and caught him with half a lap to go, and just basically tried to put my nose anywhere I could to put him off his line. And unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough, and it was a crazy dash to the line. But congratulations to Enzo. That was a fantastic finish and great racing.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And I think I've just run out of replay for some reason. Let's see if I can't. There it is. Look, the telemetry we had it was 50-50. Half of it had it to you, half of it had it to Enzo. And I was saying to Enzo, it's rounded up to 1/1000th of a second, because from what we can tell, the official iRacing timing said 000 after the decimal point, but the telemetry and what I have on screen at the moment says 001, but it rounds up to that, I think. So it was very, very tight, mate. And I've got to compliment you, that run through, and I saw you a couple of laps through that final chicane. The car control was excellent to retain that sort of drive out of the corner. And as you say, poking your nose in to unsettle Enzo's run. really, honestly, it was obviously so close to winning it. Both of us, and I think the people at home were on the edge of their seat, mate. So fantastic drive once again. Another one in the books. It was almost your second victory this season, was it? And but hopefully many more to come, and that next step on the podium for you, mate. But before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Of course, there's always you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's going to be good to go back and watch it. It was good to watch Barber while I was away last week, so gave me something to do on a Monday night. And of course, go Team Milo.
Absolutely, go Team Milo indeed. All right, Ben. Well, mate, thanks once again for your support and for joining us here tonight. And we'll look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks.
Thanks, guys.
Here you go, AJ. Team Milo's own Ben Snell. What a fantastic drive that was. Just, I mean, it can't get any closer. We've said it already, but oh man, what a race!
Yeah, I have to say, I think Ben he has found another gear this season. He seems to be a little bit more consistent, and he's there right at the end a little bit more this season, and that's showing in the overall championship results. So I don't know how it's going to look with Canada taking the win tonight, but next season, Snell could be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't disagree. He's been improved. His improvement over the last couple of seasons has been stellar. But we have a couple more to get through. Mr. Sean Karen, joining us in the commentary booth here tonight. Sean, you've cracked it back in the top split, and not only have you cracked it back in the top split, but you've grabbed a podium nonetheless, mate. Congratulations, fantastic drive. Tell us. From where we sat, it looked pretty exciting there. How did it feel in your seat?
Thanks. Yeah, it's by far my best finish in M&L, and by far the most exciting race I've had. Heart was pumping at the end of it. But it was good racing for the most part. I knew I didn't have the speed to get away from the guys around me, so I was just trying to wait it out to the end of the race. And then there was a moment during the middle of the race, I'm not sure if you caught it, but I kind of got collected by the two guys behind me and took a bit of damage, and I sort of saw red for a little bit, but luckily I wasn't close enough to them to cause any mayhem. But at the final lap of the race, I kind of just decided to go all in.
Yeah, mate,
it worked out, luckily.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great drive there. We did catch that incident. Actually, it looked like Rahman sort of boxed out. I'm trying to think who it was.
Michael Feed.
Oh, was it Fiedler? No, I think it was. You could be right, mate. You'd have probably had a bit. I thought it was Marku, but
results, so I can't remember.
I thought it was Marku actually, and he got boxed in and then braked, tried to outbrake, but then put that into the rear of your car. Impressive that you managed to carry on with damage. I mean, the car, I'm right on board with it at the moment, although it's probably before the incident happened. It looked pretty straight, but certainly every now and then looked to get away from you a little bit, or at least try. And then, luck's a fortune there at the end. You have to be there, and you're on the head of this, 6-7 car pack throughout, and to come out in front of that must be very satisfying.
Yeah, I was saying to Ben in the green room that I had no idea there was that many cars, but I race in VR, and I kind of just turn off most of the black boxes and stuff so I can just focus, because I kind of need to. So I had no idea that there was such a massive pack until after the end of the race. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's one way to keep your focus, isn't it? All right, sure, mate. Well, congratulations once again. Not only the top split run, but what your first podium there tonight. Fantastic effort, mate. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Thanks. No, just you guys for running the broadcast. It makes the racing great every Monday night.
Awesome.
Soon to be Sunday night.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sean, mate. Well, hopefully we'll get the chance to see you in a few more of these, whichever night we land on, mate. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll talk to you in the coming weeks.
Thanks.
There you go, AJ. Sean Karen, VR, there you go. One of your mob. And interesting tactic there, turning off all the black boxes to keep focus. What do you make of that?
Yeah, no, that's a great tip. It's definitely something I do as well. We always say have the relative up so that you know who's around you. But if you got a little bit of pressure on, chuck the lap timing up, and then it only updates as you go over the start finish line. And only of course with the car ahead of you and behind you. So it sort of gets you looking more up and not concentrating so much on the black box and making mistakes. But great driving from Sean there. Car 15, he's nearly cracked triple digits for an I rating gain tonight as well. So if he can keep that up, then he'll be up above 3,000 IR and he'll be a regular in the top split. And I hope that we see that because he's obviously got the pace to mix it up with the 4K IR guys around him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely right. Well, and I always said that actually early in the race. I mentioned that I'd race with him, and he certainly got the pace to burn. Hopefully, he can find the consistency that he needs to be a regular here in the top split. Well, we've got a couple from the lower splits here just to give us a bit of
What the hell?
hello.
Hello, sorry.
Cheapers. Corey. Corey Steinhauser, of course, our roving reporter from the second split tonight, mate. Tell us, how did you crack on tonight?
Well, I actually struggled a lot today. I got involved in a first two corner skirmish, that double right-hander corner, and had no rear wing as a result. And I did not realize this, and it was a very, very trying race.
Yeah, well, mate, driving a Formula Ford in a Skippy race would be quite tough, but hopefully brighter things ahead for you, mate. Sounds like a bit of a challenge to run out there on a track that could do with a bit of downforce when it comes to these cars. But yeah, that's unlucky, mate. Sorry to hear it went that way for you. Now, I know you're a Twitch streamer. Would you like to give everyone a bit of a shout out as to where they can check out you on Twitch?
Yeah, if you like to see me struggling through the bottom split races, then you can come and find me at twitch.tv/Corey has no life 13. I killed the previous 12, and I have the original on YouTube.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Corey, mate. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll hopefully hear from you with a better result next week.
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to Watkins Glen. It's one of my better tracks. And make sure you give a big shout out to Les Peck, who's down in the green room there. He finished in P3.
Awesome. Well, we'll go and have a chat to Les and see how he went on. Thanks again, Corey. Look forward to talking to you soon.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Righto, our final interview tonight will be the aforementioned Mr. Les Peck. Sounds like you had a good run there tonight, Les. Tell us a bit about what happened for your adventures in the second split.
Alex and Alex. Yeah, it was a really good race tonight. Got a little bit tense in the first, say, 3-4 laps because this track definitely does tend to draft everyone together and makes it a bit hairy in some of those corners. But no, it was really good. Then me and Blake Ramon sort of broke free and really battled for 99% of the race after that, which was really good. And I ended up coming away with a third, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, awesome. This track does bring out some good racing, plenty of opportunity to race side by side and get a move done where there's one on offer. Glad to hear that that was the case for you too, mate, because that's why we do it in the end. But look, congratulations on the podium, mate. Great to see you back on track, and hopefully a few more results like that we might even get to see on the broadcast again, mate. So looking forward to that as well, mate. Anyone like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well done to Mark for making it up to the top split. He's done really well with his iRating of late, and just the Venom boys and Morgan's Cranes for the sponsorship.
Fantastic. Thanks, Les, mate. And hopefully we'll see you on track in the coming weeks.
We'll do, mate. Catch you later.
There you go, AJ. That is our around the grounds, so to speak, of the top and second split action here tonight on Monday Night Lights. What's your takeaways from the racing tonight here at Motegi, AJ?
Yeah, look, I'm just wishing that Motegi was featured a little bit more in the iRacing official series for all sorts of cars because, the racing that we had tonight was absolutely great, and I think it only gets better as the cars get faster. So, it'd be great if we could see it a bit more. I'm not sure if it's the final time we see it, or I think it may be on next season's schedule, is it? But great racing nonetheless.
Yeah, I think we might get another Guernsey next season. From memory, I've set up the broadcast for next season. I think it was on there. Check out the YouTube, guys. The channel that you're on at the moment. All the broadcasts are set up for next season, where we move to Sunday nights, folks. Just remember that Sunday nights for the first time, starting next season. We're looking forward to that change and what it might bring. But AJ, what's on the books for you this week when it comes to racing?
Well, I think we'll be back in the F3s on Thursday nights. I'm not sure where it is this week, actually, Alex, but good fun in there as always. Hopefully, a little bit less death than there was last week at Belle Isle.
Oh, Bill, the stuff of nightmares in that car, honestly. The bumps. No, we're at Laguna Seca on Thursday night, of course. You can find me on Twitch at Top Split TV. AJ, you're at AJ_77. And when I redo the overlays or finish that, I'll make sure we've got all our details up there as well. But aside from that, we'll be at Bathurst for Saturday night for the FNRC Bathurst 200, which is always a lot of fun. But for now, folks, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and on behalf of the good doctor himself, Dr. Alex John, I will say thank you for joining us once again. Look forward to your company again next week, and ciao for now.